we've spoken about the physical requirement and the physical preparation, but I just want to talk a bit about the mental preparation. Being in the army is all about taking loads of information in and being able to give loads of information out. Even if you're just a rifleman on what we call STAG on sentry duty, you've got to be totally alert, because you've got to understand what you're there to do, and that's to protect your mates. So you've got to understand what you're looking at. So if you're in that urban environment, you've got to know how to look for the enemy within those, within buildings and alleyways and shadows and all that sort of stuff. If you're in the CUDs, you're in that rural environment, you've got to understand where the folds in the ground are, where the enemy might move to get to you, because your job is to protect your mates. And that means not just the physical alertness of being on STAG, lying there with a machine gun, doing all that sort of stuff, but actually constantly being mentally alert. And just like the body, the brain is a muscle, and it can be trained to be alert. And that's one of the reasons why there's a lot, during basic training, there's a lot of what we call attention to detail, a lot of continuously repeating the training that you do day in, day out. And that's what makes good professional soldiers, because all the stuff that you've got to do, even the fact of marching, marching is not all about some sergeant major shouting at you. It's all about getting a group of people from one point to another at the same time with all the kit they require to do their job. That's what marching's all about. It's not about parade grounds and all that sort of stuff. That's just for the tourists and what we see on films. It's all about moving men and equipment. So every time when you're doing drill, when you're doing basic training, it's just a repetition. So when you are in that squad and you're moving from A to B, you're not thinking about it. What you do, you're thinking about the job that you've got to do when you get there. And even when you're, all of the cleanliness, all the cleaning the barrack block that you live in and having your locker layout, so your socks have got to be there and your shirts have got to be there folded in a certain way, your boot polish has got to be down on the bottom right hand corner shelf, exactly the same as everyone else. That's not about all this, sergeant major shouting about room inspections just to really annoy you. What that's all about is, once you get in your head, because you're training your brain to take things in order, once you've got that squared away in that sort of environment where there's central heating and there's hot water and it's great and you've got a bed and you've got a bit of carpet, all that sort of stuff. When you're in the field and you've got your Bergen, which is a rucksack, and you've got your belt kit and you've got your weapon, your ammunition, all that sort of stuff, you instinctively, without thinking about it, know how to keep it all in place, make sure that it's all in good order, so when you need it, it will work. Because out in the field, there isn't someone who's going to replace it. There isn't someone who's going to repair it. You've got to do that. So that's why in basic training you have all these things that you've seen on films and people complain about, all the room inspections. It's not about that. It's about once you're out in the field and you're doing your job as a soldier, you're looking after yourself. You don't have to think about it. What you're thinking about is the job that you're doing when you're there.